So in previous videos, I've alluded to the fact that I consider myself a Christian, and I thought I'd make this video to go into detail what on what that means to me. Um, I guess central to my understanding of Christianity is the idea of the Logos. Now, this was an idea that goes back to the Greek philosopher Heraclitus. Might be thought of as the original process philosopher. Essentially, the Logos was it's comparable to the Eastern concept of the Tao. It's basically sort of the mind of history unfolding. This ever-present process of coming to know greater value and beauty. Or this a sort of eros to history. This word found its way into the New Testament in the Gospel of John, where it uses the word, where it says word. The actual Greek word it uses is logos. So in the beginning was the Logos, and the Logos was with God, and the Logos was God, and the Logos became flesh. So that means this eros of history became embodied by an individual, Jesus of Nazareth. And so what does that mean? Does that mean, Jesus was this superhuman, I think for me what it means is that Jesus emptied himself of all will that was against the will of God, and became a pure vessel for the will of God to manifest. Now that still doesn't quite establish the sort of specialness of Jesus, because I think you could say that other people, particularly other spiritual leaders such as the Buddha, could also be said to have gone such a route. But I think what was special about Jesus was that God wanted to reveal himself through the life of Jesus by revealing his eternal love for all of mankind. And so not only in Jesus' teaching, but also in his sacrifice on the cross, he revealed the sacrificing love of God for all of creation. And so I feel I get the sense that Christianity at its core, what was sort of meant to be, what Jesus was getting is, it's a religion of the heart. It's a path of love and compassion. And I've always, even though I haven't always been Christian, I've always admired this sort of the message of Jesus about loving not only your neighbor but your enemies, and and radical forgiveness, and turning the other cheek. And it's a hard standard to live up to, and I certainly fall from that standard quite frequently. But I mean, I think that's what Christ is about, is this eternal love. And yeah, I've mentioned in another video this sort of spiritual experience I had, this vision of Jesus Christ. And for me, it wasn't so much the vision part of it that was interesting. It was the feeling of this all-embracing love that stretched out across the furthest reaches of the cosmos. I felt like I was being embraced by existence itself, and in that moment, I said yes to all of existence. And so I believe truly, if God is anything, then God is love. That God uh, and that love is revealed through Jesus Christ. And so for me, it's unfortunately, this has been sort of construed into this sort of exclusivist way. Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Well, but what is he saying, that as Jesus the man, or as Christ, the eternal love of God? I would argue that what he's saying is that love is the way. Through love and compassion, a self-sacrificing love, that is the way to come to know God. And I've heard even from non-Christians. I heard this interview with this Zen teacher who talked about a time in his life when he started reading a lot of Christian mystics like Meister Eckhart and Teresa of Avila and St. John of the Cross, and he talked about all this heart energy they had with them, and I think that is what is at the core of Christianity for me, is that sacred heart of compassion and love. And it is, and it's actually interesting. Ken Wilber and even Whitehead kind of use the term eros to describe what I described as logos, and eros means love as well, and so I think it's a love that brings about transcendence. It helps us transcend ourselves to become something greater than ourselves. And so it's not just love as in feeling all giddy about each other. It's a transformative love. And so my attitude is on religious pluralism. I think if we truly live in that in the spirit of Christ, then we have to love others, and to acknowledge that the other religions have their own have that sort of universal love in some form or another, and that to the extent that they seek that out, then they are in fact friends of Christ. They follow Christ, and so I would say that I think that all religions are true in a certain way, but I don't quite buy the whole the perennialist argument in full. I do think there are differences between religions on significant matters of belief, and that those differences shouldn't be just ignored, but they ought not to get in the way of deeper understanding between religions, and that they really do have more in common than they do. They really are more alike than they are different at their mystical core. And so I'm still very much interested in other religions like Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Judaism, Islam, and I draw great inspiration from each of them. But for me, I resonate with Christ as my guiding light in life. And so in a sense, I guess religion for me is almost, there's a sense in which it's kind of just an identity, like that a person could be Christian or Buddhist in the same way that a person could be French or Italian. I mean, but I don't want to take that analogy too far, because there is something deeper to it, and there certainly is a belief component to it. But I think that I like to think of religions more as paths to God than beliefs. So Um, I guess I'll leave it there for now. God bless and peace.